Hi, I'm Megan Baker. This is Influence Her. Heather Lyke is the Director of Athletics at the University of Pittsburgh, where she continues to leave her mark with dynamic changes within Pitt athletics. She is a native of Canton, Ohio, and was a student athlete at the University of Michigan. There, she led the Wolverines' Big Ten champion softball team, lettered 4 years, and became an all-academic Big Ten honoree. Lyke holds a bachelor's degree in education from Michigan and a Juris Doctor from the University of Akron School of Law. She is a proud mom of 3, leaving a lasting impression on women in sports. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Appreciate it.
Heather, where does your love of sports come from?
It's probably rooted from my family. My parents were both college athletes, and they're older. So my mom was sort of definitely, lived in the time when women's basketball, you only, you had one athlete that was a rover, and, you either played offense or defense, and one person they felt could actually run the length of the court. So that person got to play. But anyway, she played field hockey in college. My dad was a football student athlete in college. My brother played college athlete football. So, it's probably inbred in my family background. And, so it was definitely a competitive growing up experience.
Deep in your blood, that's for sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
So growing up, aside from having that and having, family within that was involved in sports, what did you aspire to be?
I don't know that I'll tell you the other thing. Growing up in Canton, Ohio, it's the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So, college sports, pro sports, high school sports was a big thing in the town that I grew up in, and it was really supported well. And also going to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony every year since I was born. You see that pinnacle moment. You see people aspire to be the best you can be. And so I never had this dream of doing the job that I'm actually doing. I was an education major, an English major at Michigan, and I love kids and impacting them. And I had my older brother went to law school, and I came out of undergraduate and I just felt like, I don't know if I've done, I'm done learning, because as an athlete, that's, you balance it all the time and you're never really focused on your academics solely. And so I went on to law school and started to really hone in on, I really miss my sports. If I could combine a career that would combine my passion for sports, my legal education, and an ability to make an impact on young people, I think that I would really enjoy that. So, and I reflect on my college coach, Carol Hutchins. She's the softball coach at Michigan. She's the winningest coach in NCAA softball history. So she's a legend. And I realized if I could have a job I love as much as she loved coaching, like that's one of the attributes, I think, of pursuing a career and pursuing your passion. It doesn't feel like work, and, so that's really what I looked at, can I combine college athletics and my love for impacting young people? And so I had a chance to start my career at the NCAA, and that's where kind of it all started.
And here you are. So you have found that love and you were able to find that position. So your responsibilities are pretty big. You oversee 19 intercollegiate sports programs with more than 400 student athletes. You're also known as the woman who re-energized Pitt athletics by recruiting more than a handful of new coaches and directing a rebrand of marks and logos. What is it like to be in the driver's seat for these dynamic changes and during these times?
Well, I mean, you count your blessings. I feel really lucky to get the chance to work at a world-class university. We're a part of the ACC. It's a place that we have a chance to go compete for ACC and national championships. I've got an extraordinary chancellor and boss, an awesome board of trustees, because the athletic department is obviously just, it's a very visible piece to an academic institution in higher education. But our ideas are only so successful if we're supported from above and there's real alignment of leadership. So I took this job because I really valued the chancellor. It's close to my hometown. and it does have that ACC platform. So for us, it's been transformative. For the first 3 years, we really look at, okay, I inherited an organization that was pretty comfortable, frankly, and I didn't think we were really achieving at the level that we could. So you have to sometimes be a little bit of a change agent and look at how can you grow and make an impact, leave a positive impact at the place. And so for me, we really started with the people, because I think ultimately you win with people. You can have the greatest facilities in the world and great programs or whatever, but if you don't have great people running these facilities or running these teams, then they're only going to achieve so much success. So started with, making 9 head coaching changes, which was a lot. I don't ever expect to do that again in about a year and a half. And then we set out a new facility. We've got the right people in place. I think our coaching staff is extraordinary. We looked at our brand and our marks. And historically, what I learned about Pitt is, the Tony Dorsett era and the Dan Marino era. They won 9 national championships in football. Oklahoma's won 7 and Penn State's won 2. So I'm like, Oklahoma plus Penn State equals Pitt. That's the history that we need to celebrate. So, and people have a tremendous sense of pride in Pitt, but they love those old colors. So we work directly with Nike to kind of rejuvenate the colors and create a consistent brand that will last now, hopefully, a very, very long time. That's unique to Pitt. Because when I went to the ACC first meeting, I looked at, we were this navy and gold. Notre Dame was navy and gold. Georgia Tech was navy and gold. And I was like, we don't stand out, So, and you've got Carolina blue. And so we wanted our Pitt blue and Pitt gold to really stand out. And I think it's been really well received. So you put kind of the right coaching staff and the right personnel supporting them, rebrand into, what kids like today and help them from a branding and perception standpoint. And then, now we're working on our facility vision, and then it'll start to really lift. So we're excited.
Pitt has always had such great pride. I grew up in Butler, just north of Pittsburgh, and I've attended many games, mostly the football games.
Yeah.
But those are memories you just don't forget.
Right. No, this is, it's a town. It's a sports town. Everyone's like, well, it's a pro sports town. I'm like, I disagree. I think it's a sports town, because you go to high school football, it's a huge thing. And high school wrestling, fill in the blank. They do, they're consumers of it, and they're knowledgeable. The city loves, obviously a winner. It's called the City of Champions for a reason. So our goal is to hope to add to that brand, that message of the city, and aspire to be champions.
What's also interesting is you have unveiled Pitt Studios, which is a state-of-the-art production facility now being used for the university's first ever broadcast and media studies curriculum. Now, I have a background in communications media from IUP, so this is really interesting to me. How did you get involved with this?
Well, when I first got here, I learned that the ACC was going to launch a network. And I had been a part of the Big Ten network launching. I worked at Ohio State for 15 years. So when we launched the Big Ten network 10 years ago, I really had very familiar with what went into that. So I got here, and they're like, I got the report from the ACC, we're going to be launching the network in about a year and a half. And I said, so I asked the team here, okay, what do we have planned? Like, where are we going to put our studio? Where's the production hub? Like, where's the infrastructure that we need to have in place to be able to televise 87 live broadcasts, or, the online, the linear platform, as well as the online platform. And we don't really have any plans. And I said, okay, this is sort of a priority. So I went right to the chancellor. I'm like, look, we've got to be ready to be on national television in about a year and a half. And so we have to design a studio. And so when you come into the Peterson Event Center, the main basketball arena, 2 giant escalators that go up, and there's a merchandise store. And then there was this, it was called a Hall of Champions, I think. And it was very dated. The pictures were rolled up, curled. It was not well attended. and it's a nice size space. And so we decided to renovate and gut that space and turn it into Pitt Studios and make it, sort of a Today Show. It's all glass windows. So if there's a production going on or interviews, people can walk by and watch it, which is kind of fun for the viewers and fans. And so, yeah, we went for it, frankly. And
That's great.
yeah, our university, it's interesting. The people who work for Pitt Studios and our production team, many of them went to Pitt and they said, oh, we didn't have this major, we didn't have this opportunity. And so we partnered with the School of Education and created the new major, hired a joint faculty member. So Dr. Kevin Smith, he works for both the College of Education and Pitt Studios. The students get to work on our live broadcast. All of our production studios are designed with, a main person sitting at the control and then a student seat next to that person. So it's kind of twice as big as it needs to be, but it allows students to have very hands-on experience. So it's a win-win-win. We partnered with NEP, who helps support the vision, and they are looking for apprentices. So the kids that, the Pitt students who get to work on our production are ideal candidates for apprentices for full-time jobs after they graduate. So it's been an all-around great partnership. Grateful for the universities for supporting it. And when you come to Pitt, you got to check out Pitt Studios.
I would love to. I'd love to tour it. I mean, it's such a tremendous opportunity for students. That's fantastic. What makes, in your eyes, what makes a good student athlete today?
Well, I mean, we get fortunate because I tell, families, we have this phrase, I have this phrase above my office. It says, the decisions we make impact the lives of other people's children. And, so if you have kids, you realize the importance of that message, because every day we make decisions that impact the lives of other people's kids coming to our family, So that's sort of the central focus of the decisions we make. And I tell parents and kids all that, we feel lucky we get to, really work with some tremendously balanced kids. They're really great students coming to Pitt. It's an academic, it's, rigorous. And so I think kids who have, we look for from a student athlete, I mean, they obviously have the athletic talent and skill to be here, but it's really more about their academic ability and then, who they are as people. I mean, coaches they watch the game, but they watch the interaction on the bench when they come off the field, on the field. They watch interactions with parents and family members after games, how they treat their coaches, how they treat their teammates. It's not just pure athletic talent that coaches really recruit. And so you want the ultimate well-rounded student. We've got a tremendous life skills program at Pitt that's very unique to college athletics, and we focus on making them great leaders and, hopefully proud alumni of Pitt someday.
There are a lot of pressures, for student athletes too. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, in having, 5 kids of my own, 4 girls, 1 boy, and you have 3 children as well. What do you make of year-round athletic training for our youth?
Oh, this question, you could go on for days. It's a great debate, and I struggle with it personally because I do have kids that are, have gotten to places where they've had to choose and, pick a sport or pick 1 or 2 sports, as opposed to when I grew up, I played 3 sports all year round. We didn't have, I went to church with my family every Sunday. I was never at a ball game and at a game or out of town for, traveling. And so those days are over, which is scary because I think the sport specialization, while it is good in some ways, it's, it does limit the growth and I think exposure, and puts more pressure in certain ways. I mean, who's to say that you're a great basketball player in the 6th grade, or a soccer player, or fill in the blank sport, Football tends to be a little bit more balanced because you can't really play football all year long. But so many of the other sports become specialized at very young ages. The club coaches, it's a living for them, so they want to train these kids all year long. And certainly, there's benefits, but I see, with my own children, I've really encouraged them to stay involved in as many things as possible, as long as you can. And then club coaches all hate me because she's coming to the game, she'll be at practice, so it's, you have to balance it, and you have to be transparent. And you do find club coaches who do, kind of grew up the same generation as I did, and they realize and appreciate, because they were multi-sport athletes. They do have some latitude there, but it's a little bit rare. I mean, most of them want you to really specialize, and I think our coaches want a well-rounded athlete.
That's good to know. I struggle with that decision all the time. And it's one thing in one area that my husband and I do butt heads. I have girls involved in soccer, basketball, lacrosse, and then my sons, in basketball, football, baseball. So it's
yeah.
a challenge.
Yeah, it's a full life. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time. We are moving on to Baker's Dozen. So this is 13 questions with rapid fire answers from you. Okay. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Heather. First one, your childhood nickname.
Crash.
Why?
Because I had a bike accident early on, and so I was just named Crash after that.
A sport you played growing up other than softball?
Oh, I swam, played tennis, volleyball, basketball.
Wow, you did do it all.
Yeah.
What store do you shop at most?
I love Lululemon. So I'm kind of, and I'm always like, why can't we have Lululemon branded stuff, for college athletics? Ann Taylor, Nordstrom, I don't know.
One thing you learned about Pittsburgh since moving there?
The people are as real and genuine as they come.
So true. If you could go to any sports game right now, what would it be?
Oh, anything Pitt. I want to watch anything that our kids are competing in.
What is the leading characteristic of successful student athletes?
Selflessness and discipline.
That's really good. Favorite celebrity athlete?
Oh, I grew up in the Michael Jordan era. Who doesn't love, I mean, he's just, I don't know. He was everything then.
Great. A song comes on the radio and you instantly turn it off. What song is that?
Oh, I'm not a huge rap fan. So probably something like that. I don't necessarily connect to, but.
Favorite part about Pittsburgh?
Driving into work, the views, it's beautiful city. It's unlike anything else.
It has my heart, that's for sure. Most recent book you've read?
I'm reading this book, the Book of Gutsy Women, and it's Hillary Rodham Clinton and Chelsea wrote it together, and it's a compilation of stories of extraordinary, they're short stories, of women who've done amazing things in the world.
I'll have to check that one out. Thank you for that recommendation.
Yes.
What is your lifelong dream?
Oh, to have a strong family and kids who are happy and successful, and give back to others, because you feel really fortunate to be able to do what you do.
This question is from our previous guest. What are you afraid of?
Scuba diving.
Me too. You get to ask the next question to our next guest.
Oh. What is your hidden talent?
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Heather Lyke, it's absolutely been a pleasure speaking with you, Director of Athletics, University of Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for your time. I feel like I got to know you so much in just a short amount of time, and I look forward to visiting campus, hopefully someday very soon, and tour the facility. And it'd be great to meet you in person. Anytime. You're welcome to come, and please reach out. Yes, pleasure to meet you, Meg. Thank you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.